Yes, that's right, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, back with your next speed stick update video. Yes, it's the start of July 2025 and the action has been heating up. We've now got almost 90 entries on the speed stick, and I thought I'd start off by running you through some very interesting statistics. So firstly, for represented nations on the leaderboard, coming in fourth place with 6 entries, we have Australia. Then with 8 entries tied, we've got Germany and the Netherlands. Yes, 8 entries each. And then absolutely steaming it away in first place, yes, it's the USA with 41 entries. That's almost half of the speed stick is the USA. Types of boats represented on the leaderboard at this time. So in joint fourth place with 4 boats, we have the Hobie 14 and the Nacra Inter 20. 2 very different boats putting in some very different speeds. This will be a surprise to you, I think. In third place with 6 entries is the Hobie 16, sailed with 2 people on board. I know, I was expecting a lot more. In second place, we have the Formula 18 catamarans with 14 boats entered. And then in first place and steaming away with it, I don't know what we've created here, but we have created a single-handed Hobie 16 invasion with 15 boats on the leaderboard. Yes, that's right. The Global Speed Stick competition is the competition that is going on all year round. It runs year to year and anybody can get on the speed stick. All you need is some sort of GPS device that you can take with you when you go sailing. Whether it's some sort of watch or perhaps just a telephone in a dry bag running an app. The official app of the Global Speed Stick is Water Speed because it gives a 2-second average, which adds many degrees of accuracy to your results. If a device that you're using can't run water speed, or if you're already happy with the app that you're using, then please go ahead and continue using that app. But we'd rather you didn't use Strava, because Strava seems to be quite inaccurate. Even if you're going sailing and you're not convinced that you're going to be able to put in a really big speed, it's still worth getting on the leaderboard. Like if you've got a speed that you know is not very quick for you, but you haven't yet put a speed on the leaderboard, it is well worth doing, because that gives you an incentive to go out and beat it next time. Because not only are you competing with everybody else around the world, the most important person you're competing with is yourself. Okay, so kicking it off in 87th position, we've got Alexander sailing a laser on Lake Huron, Michigan, USA with a speed of 9.3. Then notching it up for something quite unusual on the stick, in 85th, we've got Jeff, Taylor and Zach sailing an Ultimate 20. Jordanelle Reservoir, Utah, USA with a speed of 11.38. Then in 84th, we've got Mishi sailing a laser radial on Nordsee, Austria with a speed of 12.2 knots. Great job. Then in 83rd position, we've got Andreas and Matthias sailing a Top Cat K4X on Forgensee, Bavaria, Germany with a speed of 12.2. In 81st position, we've got Dirk. He's sailing a Hobie 14 Turbo on Ottertail Lake, Minnesota, USA with a speed of 13.2 knots. Oh yes, flying the 14. In 79th position, we've got Pierre and Lynn in Canada on Lake St. Joseph, Quebec on a Hobie Tiger with a speed of 13.7 knots. Great job there, guys. Then In 77th position in the US on Great Sacandaga Reservoir, New York, USA, with a speed of 13.8 knots, we've got Jesse and Mark sailing 2 up on a Hobie 14. Now, that is not easy to do. Well done, guys, great job. Then in 75th position, we've got Sam, Meg, plus some children on the Hobie 18 Magnum with a speed of 14.4 knots. And that's on Lake Lowell, Indiana, USA. Then in 73rd position, we've got Rob sailing solo on his Hobie 16 on Hemlock Lake, Michigan, USA, with a speed of 14.52 knots. Great stuff. And then we're heading back to Ottertail Lake, Minnesota, USA, where Dirk has been laying down some speeds. In 71st, he's been sailing solo on the mighty Hobie 21 SE with a speed of 14.6, and then getting it a bit quicker in 70th position on the Hobie 18 with a speed of 14.7 knots. Great stuff there, Dirk. Keep up the big speeds. Okay, and then in 69th position, we've got Fritz and Philip sailing a Top Cat K2X on Nordsee, Austria, with a speed of 14.9 knots. And then notching it up in 68th position, we've got Michael sailing the Hobie 14 Turbo on Lake Minnetonka, Minnesota, USA, with a speed of 15 knots. And then in 67th, we've got Bobby sailing a Mistair 4.3, I believe the first of its kind on the speed stick in Pymatuning, Pennsylvania, USA, with a speed of 15.12. And then we are going faster in 66th with Andrew on a Hobie 14 Turbo on Lake Muskegon, Michigan, USA, speed 15.2. And then in 65th, we've got Austin, Alicia, Landon and Mike sailing a Hobie Getaway. Yes, that's 4 up, because you can with a Getaway. South Padre Island with a speed of 15.23. And then in 64th, we've got Stephen and David right here in Vasiliki, Lefkas, Greece, sailing a Hobie Tiger with a speed of 15.6. Okay, and then in 63rd position, we've got our youngest Helm on the speed stick. We've got Ben, just 11 years old, sailing with Chris on the Nacra Infusion F18 in Galveston, Texas, USA, with a speed of 15.82. If Ben can do that when he's 11, just think what he'll be able to do when he's 12. Oh yeah, nice job, Ben. And then in 61st position, we've got Scott and Cooper sailing this RS Cat 16 in Bainbridge Island, Washington, USA, with a speed of 16.1. Getting faster for Richard on the Rockport Reservoir, Utah, sailing solo on the Hobie 16 with a speed of 16.6. Great job there, Richard. And then notching it up for Chris in 57th, sailing solo on the Hobie 16 on Phillips Lake, Maine, USA, with a speed of 16.8 knots. Also on 16.8 knots, sailing on Lake Worth, Texas, USA, we've got Johnny, also on a Hobie 16. That's 56th there. And then in 52nd, sailing a Nacra 5.5, we've got Eric and Magnus sailing in Askersund, Sweden, with a speed of 17.1 knots. Very nice job there, guys. And then in 50th position, we've got Dylan and Leslie sailing a Nacra 5.7 on the Texas City Dike in Texas, USA, with a speed of 17.2. Forward wind to 44th position, and yes, we've got Pete sailing solo on the Dart 18 in Canada, in Ottawa, with a speed of 18 knots. Fully sending it there, Pete, great job. And then in 37th position, and I think possibly getting the prize for most notch-ups of the season so far. We've got Tim sailing solo on the Hobie 16, Falls Lake, North Carolina, USA, speed 18.9 knots. I can see 20 knots in the future for Tim. Let's see what Tim can smash in there by the end of the year. And then in 33rd position, we've got Trevor and Jason sailing a Hobie Tiger on Kaneohe Bay, Oahu, Hawaii, with a speed of 19.1. Oh yes. And then in 31st position, we've got Kai and Christine sailing this Star 18 on Wannsee, Berlin, Germany, with a speed of 19.2 knots. And then in 32nd position, we've got right there, Terry and Chris. I think it was just last week, in fact, sailing a Hobie 16 with a speed of 19.6 knots. Great job there, guys. And then in 28th position, we've got Oliver and Max sailing a Capricorn F18 during the Rondon Texel regatta in the Netherlands. Round Texel race, Holland, to me, on the Capricorn with a speed of 19.7 knots. To get a big speed while you're racing really does add a certain sparkle to what you've done there. Nice job. And then in 27th position, just in for Marcus and Daniela, sailing a Goodall Design Viper F16 on Nordsee, Austria, with a speed of 19.9 knots. Great job there. Coming in with a big notch up for Koen, sailing in Gravelingenmeer in the Netherlands on the Nacra 16 solo with a speed of 19.92. Great job, Koen. And then in 22nd position, we've got Christoph and Jan sailing this amazing black Hobie 16 named Tiger in Scharbeutz, Germany, with a speed of 20.1 knots. And then in 19th position, we've got Scott dropping it in the slot on the Hobie 16 solo. We know that Scott has got more in the tank on Coltus Lake, which is still looking pretty cold there, with a speed of 20.3 knots. We're now up to 14th position for Andreas, sailing the A-class, non-foiling, should point that out, on the Havel in Berlin, Germany, with a speed of 20.6 knots. Now that is cooking some serious goose. And now we enter into the top 10 for Joe and Kai, who are sailing a C2 Formula 18 from Goodall Design on Wannsee, Berlin, Germany, with a speed of 22 knots. Full send. Great job there. And then we've got the Lake Weber Showdown. 9th position, who's it going to be? Yes, it's James Carpenter sailing solo on the Hobie 16, Queensland, Australia, with a speed of 22.01. And then you're not going to believe it, but also with a speed of 22.01, we've got Steve Ned Kelly also sailing a Hobie 16 solo on Lake Weber, Queensland, Australia. Now, you may ask, who gets to go higher up on the leaderboard if the scores are tied? Well, on the main leaderboard on the totaljoyrider.com website, it is down to the luck of the draw, because I'm using a third-party app to organise and arrange the speeds. I know it's going to be tough if you end up one position down on the same speed, but on this list, it's whoever's entry came in more recently gets the higher ranking. There we go. Okay, so 5th place, sailing a Nacra 17 Mark 1. We've got Eduardo and Alexander in Puerto Rico in Carolina Bay with a speed of 23.11 knots. That is full send. And then the highest entry in June has been, knocking me off the podium, I might add, was Disco Stew and Jimmy sailing out of Mount Manguani Yacht Club, New Zealand, with a speed of 24.9 8.6 knots, and that is extremely quick any day of the week on any type of boat. But on a Tornado, that is fully taking it down the mine shaft and seeing what you can find. And they found a big speed. Great job there, guys. And then in first place, still sailing on the Nacra 20 FCS fully carbon, we've got Sam and Harry, also in New Zealand, from Marakura Yacht Club with a speed of 27 knots. Now, just to remind you that there is a special challenge on this year's Speed Stick, and that is whoever can get a higher speed than me by the end of the year on a non-foiling boat will win a special, very, very limited edition t-shirt which said, yes, I sailed faster than Joe on the 2025 Speed Stick. All right, so there we go. Those are the new entries. If you're not yet on the stick, get on the stick. If you're on the stick, get on the stick, but faster than you've already done. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon with some more on Joyrider TV.